let's get it.
Without further
Alrighty, hello everyone, hello champions. This is our September Champions Community Call. Hope you all had a wonderful summer. If you had a summer break, hope you had an enjoyable, relaxing time. This is our event, Code of Conduct. Essentially, be kind, be welcoming to everyone on this call. If you wanted to know more about what that is about, you can click on this link right here, aka.ms/code of conduct. So our agenda for today, we have some announcements, some top Microsoft 365 updates with a special guest, Carolina Gatimu, and she's going to give us some important Copilot updates. And then on top of that, we have our main topic, which is using Viva Engage for Copilot adoption with our special guest today, James, and then an open discussion forum where you can ask our guests your most important questions. All right, first thing, announcements. In our community space, we do have a very important upcoming event. This is our Copilot plus OneDrive digital event. It's going to be happening on October 8th, 2025 at 9 a.m. It's going to be our third annual one for a really cool, powerful lineup of different AI features, both to use from home and as well as for work. There's going to be a whole product showcase and different sort of product managers and as well as leadership coming to showcase these new features at and you can feel free to sign up and look at what this event is all about at ak.ms/OneDrive event.
without further
Next, our upcoming Microsoft 365 Copilot webinars. If you haven't noticed, we've talked about in this previous month about this customer hub space where you can basically engage and be part of these live instructor-led trainings, as well as basically take them on the go or on demand. For Customer Hub, there is actually a new update. There's actually different series of like different sort of classes, if you will, basically that you can take on there. And essentially it's all live instructor led, or you can watch them on demand after the session. But feel free to check out Customer Hub. That's not only for Copilot, there's also other product spaces that explores on there. But feel free to check out these free upcoming Copilot webinar sessions.
without
Okay,
further
I'm going to kick it off to Jesse for our adoption.microsoft.com updates.
There we go. Unmuted. Hello, I am Jessie, and I work on Carolina's team, and I manage all of adoption.microsoft.com. We call it AMC for short because, you know, we love our acronyms. So I come here every month and I provide an update since the last time we saw each other. It's been 2 months since we saw each other. So there's quite a few updates. Biggest one, Tiffany already mentioned, the OneDrive event. If you haven't heard about it or you use OneDrive, or you want to learn more of what the innovations are coming, be sure to click the link and you register. It's a free event, free digital event. You can always watch it on demand afterwards. Second big announcement is the new collaboration focused agents. Now, I'm not going to dive into this, but there's a link you can click there. Carolina's going to come on in a minute and talk more about it. It's really exciting. So it's a lot of cool stuff coming. Our other updates, of course, our OneDrive customer office hours have been updated with new future sessions as well as on-demand sessions of previous webinars. A lot of updates across the AI Agent Hub and Copilot Hub in the last 2 months. Resources have been updated for the roles across both hubs. Copilot Hub now has a business user role, and this is targeting folks who have not become champions but are on the journey to become champions. So if you know someone in your organization that is looking to become like you, a champion, a tech evangelist for their org or for their team, that's a new path that we've mapped. It has slightly different resources than the user enablement tab. Check that out. That'll help them get on their way to becoming a champion. We have a new Copilot Teams page, kind of coincides with the new collaboration focused agents announcement, as well as threads, the threads experience in Teams channels. Check those out as well. Lots of specialized resources on those pages. A lot of updates on Customer Hub, as Tiffany mentioned. These are upcoming sessions as well as on demand. They are instructor led, so you can ask your questions live and get answers live. So that's really valuable. And as I mentioned, we have now business user resources on Copilot Hub, and definitely go check those out. As always, you can subscribe to our release notes or check out the release notes page for updates We update every week. Back to you, Tiffany. Thanks.
Great. Without further ado, I'm going to bring over Carolina Gatimu, and she's going to come and share with us about these human-enabled, human agent teams update. Thank you so much, Carolina.
Fantastic, fantastic. Let me go ahead and take control of the wonderful deck that is being shared. Good morning, champion community. I think y'all need to put me on screen. Hopefully you've done so. Awesome. There I am. I was there for a minute. Okay, excellent. I'll let y'all work on that. I'm so happy to be with you this morning to talk about the huge announcements that we had on September 18th. I'm going to go through the announcements, but more importantly, are the slides that we're sharing in this deck. As I put in the chat, we always share our decks at the Champions Resources page after the fact, and these slides will be very important as we go through all of the different new types of agents that are going to become available. Usually we talk about things that are already generally available in your tenant. There are many of these features that are in public preview now. So if you don't have those preview features turned on in your tenant, you may not be seeing them. But I wanted you to have these slides in advance. And even more important than the slides are all of the various demonstrations. We have new demos for all of you that I think you will love to use in your own champion meetings and user groups in your own organization. So that's what I really want to show you this morning. There are 3 different areas where we've released new capabilities: in communication, in knowledge, and in work management. And you're now being able to begin to see the promise of what these agentic workflows and agents can actually truly do for you. Of course, there are some now that are fantastic. Researcher and analyst are 2 of my favorites when I'm trying to find out information and I want to analyze large amounts of data in an Excel spreadsheet or any other, data source. But now these are really coming to our day-to-day workflow. So I'm going to take you through this. This is a reference list here of all of the agents that we announced and capabilities that we announced on September 18th. It was a huge moment for our engineering team and collaborative apps and platform. Everyone was working so hard to get this stuff ready and out the door. And the primary blog is listed there on this slide, a Collab AI 2025. And that's the hero blog. At the bottom, there are 4 more blogs underneath that break down each of the areas in teams and meetings and project management and in knowledge. And so all of those blogs together represent everything that we announced, as well as there are some other capabilities that had their own separate blogs. But I'm going to focus on these. So
Without further
fantastic stuff. Again, I look at this as a reference slide. I'm not going to drain every single slide in this deck. My objective is to make sure you have these resources and have knowledge about this. People are busy in their day-to-day lives, and they may or may not have been paying attention to our September 18th announcement, but we want to make sure that you have this information. One of the most important parts of this information is actually our new demonstrations. We call these Sims. And I don't know if anybody out there remembers teamsdemo.microsoft.com. It was an interactive website for Microsoft Teams that many, many people used during trainings, during sales calls, and what have you. It was super popular. We loved that technology when we had it. And the reason actually that we retired it was because we couldn't make it as accessibility friendly as we wanted, and localization was extremely difficult. Well, we finally solved that problem with our new, what we call Sims. These Sims are embedded in every blog, especially in the child blogs that I referenced off of the main one from Nicole Hertzinger. So these links will take you directly to the blogs that have these demos. But let me go ahead and share my screen and show you what's a little bit different about these that you're probably going to like. I hope that you are going to like it. Let me share over here to my other screen. I am going to do this, and I'm going to move this meeting. All right. So this should look familiar to those of you who ever use demos.microsoft.com. Now, I will tell you that I actually have this tab in my browser muted because there is a talk track that comes along with the demonstration. So you can run it on its own and let the lovely person who's talking in this one explain it all to you, or you can simply, like I like to do, mute the tab and read the screen. Especially if I was using this in a situation like this, or I was training people, I'd want to be able to simply start the demo myself and be able to go ahead and talk. If you give it a minute, Corey will pass on, and very shortly, a little item will show up here that allows me to pass her introduction. Now, what I like about this is if you embed this, which you can on a web page in your own organization, somebody can self-learn through this particular blog. But I'm going to go ahead and click next. You can see here we've got these interactive discussions here about what this is about, and this is the demonstration of the knowledge agent. And it highlights in yellow the next click you're supposed to do. On every SharePoint page, you will soon see our floating control to allow you to get to all of our interactive Copilot features. The knowledge agent is designed to help you organize and apply metadata and do other things to your content to make sure that it's fresh, always with your control. But you can see in every step, it tells you exactly where to click next. And then it goes through the different capabilities and continues to show you what to do. So there are 7 or 8 of these. I've included them in all of the various slides that I have. And so you're able to actually see how Copilot is working. Copilot is pretty difficult to demonstrate or to do training with, especially if you're live or you're speaking in an organization inside your company. And so this really streamlines the ability. It's not a video, so I can go back. Maybe I missed that step. I can go backwards and forwards in the flow of what Copilot is actually doing, and I could answer questions there if I wanted to. So I'm a big fan of these new demonstrations. I think they have so many uses in training business users. And then just for me, getting more proficient with these tools and understanding the different things that the new agents can do. I have an assignment for everyone on my team to go through every one of these agents and make sure they're familiar with them backwards and forwards. So we're doing our homework as well. Of course, we're using these new features in our own environment, but it takes a minute to get comfortable with them and to understand. And so, having these kinds of tools helps me learn at my own pace. And I think that's so important when it comes to these sorts of new capabilities. You have to really be able to take a moment with it and understand what's on the screen, understand what the Copilot is actually doing so that you can get over and your business users can get over their AI anxiety. All right, I am going to go back to the slides. I'm going to stop sharing this screen so we can go back to the slides, Jesse, and I will go through the rest of the resources that we have for you today so that we can show it to you. Fantastic. Here comes the slide deck. Gotta love it. Excellent. Here we are. So again, you have these new demonstrations. I'm going to go ahead and take control here so that I can see. Was going to take control. There it goes again. There we go. Now let's try it for me to take control and go to the right slide here. Okay, here it was. So as you go through this deck, you will see that we're talking about some things that you're maybe already familiar with. We are talking about the facilitator agent, which is now generally available. And if you haven't been using this in your meetings, I highly recommend it. It gives people the ability to not only interact and ask questions like, what did I miss? But the facilitator will take notes for you and do so much more. But the new things are really exciting. The channel agent, the combination of the channel agent and the project management agent is an answer to my personal dream of getting people to get out of group chat and work in channels because that's where all the magic is. And B, somebody write my project status reports for me. Oh my goodness, I'm so bad at that. I'm great at running projects. I am not great at writing that weekly report. I'm also tired of having to take the time to put action items from a meeting into the designated project plan. The channel agent and the project management agent together will do both of those things. Is so powerful. And one of the things that we're going to be doing is new adoption content to help people move back into channels because I know they haven't been using them as much as we would like. But that is really where all the magic lives. And so, thinking about the architecture of your teams, thinking about the channels, especially now that you can organize individual channels in your own sections on the left rail, is really important. I've included this link here for the interactive demo for this. You're definitely going to want to watch Kendra and the channel agent. The knowledge agent that I just showed you allows those SharePoint libraries to remain fresh so that there's great content for Microsoft 365 Copilot to be grounded on. And the project manager agent that I was just discussing, there are actually two demos for that, your basic demo and then showing the project management agent in meetings. So it is just a fantastic tool. I'm thrilled about this. And especially when you have your planner, your project plan attached to the appropriate channel, right? So that it's all in the right place at the right time, right? Everything works beautifully. So more than ever as champions, we have to be sharing information about the proper architecture of things and guide our business users into really setting up their projects well. Doing things like having very large teams that have many different channels, but people are pinning the channel and the project that they need. I have a user enablement team that has, I don't know, 100 channels in it, but my team only pins the channels that they happen to be working on at any time. But as a manager, I can find everything in one place, which is very valuable for me. It also helps me control permissions. Permission management is essential in the Copilot world. It always has been, but it's even more important now. So the AI is working on the appropriate information that it has. And so these are some capabilities and things to be thinking about from a champion perspective as you think about these agents. The community agent is also powerful because it can post things for you. It can help keep your community fresh. It can find and craft answers to common questions from data sources that it understands. And community agents and all of these, of course, can be shared in channels as well. So these workflows that are being enhanced are fantastic, and it simplifies things like scheduling and reminders and updates. You can use plain language prompts for that. And all of this is accessible, of course, from that Microsoft 365 Copilot app that's built right into Microsoft Teams or available directly on the web, which, by the way, is now my homepage of my browser as I start my day every day. The AI library also enables developers. We never want to forget about our builders, our makers, and our developers. And this single tool will allow developers and builders to make even more powerful agents and teams using Copilot Studio. If you haven't gotten started with Copilot Studio, I highly recommend that. You do not have to be a professional developer to build an agent that can really speed up the information sharing and searching in a project or anything that you're doing. And it's fantastic for users as well when you're enabling users. So you definitely want to be thinking about that. And this is, I won't go through the rest of these slides because I'm almost at the end of my time, but I have to talk to you about audio recaps. One of the problems with my job is that I sit at my desk too long, way too long on a daily basis. I have to remember, have my little watch that tells me when I should stand. I try to get my standing time in. My desk goes up and down. But what's even better for me, and actually for my creative and strategic thinking, is to get outside and take a walk. I can do that now with my audio recaps. I'm often double booked for meetings, or I want to hear a training or a longer form meeting. I can create an audio recap in Teams. It works on mobile. I can listen to it while I'm walking, and it'll do it in one of three different styles: a summary, executive, or like news. What's really fun is it gives you a page there where you can select multiple meetings and it'll create an audio recap in a news style of all of those meetings. So I'm out there getting my steps and actually being able to process information better than sitting at my desk and still participating in collaboration and getting the information I need. This is a fantastic thing to engage your executives with. Right? You need features that your executives actually care about to get them involved in this transition to AI. It's always very difficult to evolve the workflow of executives or anyone in a C-suite or a division leader or someone like myself. And so, because we're very set in our ways, we know what works. But this audio recap, I can't have a favorite feature right now, but this is very useful and it actually makes my day healthier and it helps me think better. And for me, that was the clincher. When I realized that I could listen to these news articles essentially that were meetings while I was walking, it was great. And then, of course, I can ask questions of it and do other things once that recap is created. So I think that's a fantastic executive engagement feature in particular. And again, back to our developers, our GitHub app for Teams is there. Copilot chat in Teams, having that just available on that right rail. It's more further integration that we've talked about. And we'll have many, many adoption updates. The good news is that all these things are coming. And I think, I don't know if Jesse and the team think that's good because we have so much to do on adoption.microsoft.com. And we will be doing that between now and when these things are generally available, but also as we run up to Microsoft Ignite. Also, many of the things you're going to hear about in our fantastic OneDrive event that we just shot. It's an edit right now. I'm really excited about how it's going. And the blooper reel is going to be fun. But all of these things need to be integrated into our core adoption content. So we'll be working on that all the way through Ignite and beyond. New quick reference sheets, core updated guidance for Teams in SharePoint and OneDrive. There's a ton of new content that's going to be coming between now and December. It will likely bleed into next quarter as well as more things are announced at Ignite. So I highly recommend that you always check the release notes if you haven't subscribed to those. But we got you. We got you. We know that you need the right tools to drive this through to your business users and so that you can stay ahead of all of this change. So we're committed to making sure that you have that. Just pardon me, it's a lot of fun. Make sure that you have bookmarked our Copilot page. The news article that I talked about as the anchor news article is already listed there. You can click off from there and see these other demos. But I encourage you to get started today with educating yourself about these new features. You're the first line of defense. If you don't learn it, none of your business users will. And so it's important to use these tools so that you can stay up to date on what's coming from Microsoft. There's a few other slides here of other things that we've done that are updated, and this new formula completion. It's a new way to write formulas in Excel, and you can use Copilot to help you do that. So that is very fun. The link to the information is, of course, on the slide. Filter for messages with files and contextual search. This is super helpful because often I'm actually looking for the file, not the message. So being able to filter there is fantastic. And Copilot Actions available in File Explorer. And this is something you'll see more of, is that direct integration with Copilot Actions in the File Explorer, courtesy of our friends from OneDrive as they move on with their continual integration of that core file experience. So super exciting stuff. I'm always happy to be with you and share this information. I'm happy to give you these slides. Go check out all of the interactive demonstrations, and I'll be here to answer questions for you in the portion where we do Q&A. And that's my section, I do believe.
All right. Thank you so much, Carolina.
You're welcome.
I am so excited. I think, well, first things first, everyone hasn't tried the facilitator agent in Teams. Super helpful, has time checks. You can ask a question or clarifying questions if you missed something during a meeting. And the second thing I'm excited about is that Teams audio recap. We have not that many nice days in Seattle. Like we have 6 months of winter here, but same thing. I stay at my desk way too long, and sometimes I look up, it's 4 o'clock and it's dark outside. So with that, it does help. It is super helpful to basically get, I think I saw in the comments a little podcast of everything that I missed, or maybe some upcoming main points that I want to hear about that during my day. Again, super, super helpful. That it will really help everyone get more healthy, as well as just being able to manage your time more efficiently. So again, thank you so much to Carolina. We are very excited for these updates. Alrighty, so without further ado, I'm going to bring on James Tyler, and he is going to take control and talk to us about engaging our Copilot adoption community via Viva Engage.
Awesome. Everyone, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to talk to you all, the champions, our customers, and hopefully share something that will help you with your championing of Copilot, whether it's Copilot chat, agents, any of those things. I think I'll have something that will be of interest to you as you continue on your adoption journeys. I always think it's really interesting that when we come to adoption, we kind of forget the most important thing. And to me, that is any change management, whatever we're doing. And of course, we're doing something huge with using AI and talking about how do we integrate it in our organizations. Any change is a conversation. We can't get people talking about things. And I love seeing the chat today. You're all sharing and how you're using Copilot, what you're excited by, you're asking questions, all those kind of things. How do we get our organizations to do that? For those of you who might not know, Ethan Mollick is a great poster about all things AI. Thanks for the heart there. On LinkedIn, and his book Co-Intelligence is really practical guidance on working with AI. But he posted this on LinkedIn a few weeks ago, and it really kind of resonated with me that end users are the real innovators. We can tell them what to do, we can share them best practices and all those kind of things, but they're the ones who are going to come up with the novel and new ways that make AI and Copilot stick in our organizations. They're the ones that we want to be makers playing with Copilot Studio. They're the ones that we want to know that we want them to be open and sharing what works, what doesn't work. How can we make this really effective in our organization? And so approaches that make building, testing, and sharing AI uses in organizations more accessible make a big difference. So how can we do that? Now, Caruana and Jesse and team have this amazing enablement guide among all the other awesome content that they create about adoption. And they talk about human change. I've seen Caruana present to you and others on this. And so if we want people to talk about it and we want to really drive the people side of change, where can we bring them together? And what we tend to do is we go to our traditional methods. So we'll send out a pile of emails. We'll make a SharePoint site. We might use a team and channels, but all of those are kind of opaque by default. They're black boxes. They mean we put everyone in a space, but only those who we've invited can come into that space and talk. But what we want is something more public. And this is why Engage is a great tool for that. You can integrate it in Teams. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to set up everything to get it going. But for those of you who don't know, Engage is an internal social tool that allows you to create communities, and there are other ways for people to share, and it's public by default. You can make private spaces, but it enables you to invite everyone from your organization into communities and to engage with each other. And this is where sharing can really happen. And we know a couple of years ago, we created a guide that said, this is how you could use Engage to support Copilot adoption, set up a community, share content, invite everyone who's licensed into that community, or support Copilot chat nowadays. We're inviting your whole organization into it, and have leaders sharing, which will encourage employees to share and really drive that change conversation in your organization. But what we realize is it's not always the easiest thing to start an engaged community. A lot of organizations don't know quite where to start. So what we are doing is we have created the Copilot Adoption Community. It's a pre-built template that automatically helps you get set up. And for those of you who have enterprise E3s, E5s, actually all the way down to the small and medium business licenses, this is included for every Microsoft 365 license, and it includes some features that would otherwise require extra licenses, Viva Suite or Viva CNC licenses. And I'm going to actually show you it in a sec, but this is the number I really like. We've run the data. We have many millions of users now, and we see a strong correlation. Of course, never going to say Engage causes people to adopt Copilot, but those customers who use the community see on average about a 35% increase in Copilot usage, whether Microsoft 365 Copilot, Copilot Chat, and we're going to add in support as well for GitHub Copilot, and we're already including contents for agents as well. So why don't I show you what it looks like, how easy it is to get started, and I'm even going to go behind the scenes and show you our own Microsoft version because we do use it internally as well. So let me just share my screen. Why is it not being helpful? Here we go.
too much.
So we make this, and Tim will answer your question about users. I'm going to answer that while we're talking as well. For if you're an Engage admin or a comms admin, you should see this banner in your network. If it's gone, you can just go into the admin settings for Engage and set it up. You click Learn More, and you get a bit of an explanation about the community. Again, this could be the only community you use Engage for. We've seen some customers do that. That's great. It's a great way to get people used to Engage. I'm going to launch the community. I can also apply it to a pre-existing community. We know a number of customers have already created a community for Copilot, but you might want some of the additional features that we have here added as well. So it's already given a name. You can change everything, and nothing that I shows you happens without admins clicking OK, create, go, yes, those kind of things. So we've already got a description. We can make it public or private. It's public by default, so I'm going to make this one private. I changed it. And you'll notice a few things. We already give you a cover image. We already give you a profile icon here, so you don't have to go and create those. Again, you can change them. And then you'll notice this checklist about getting started. So I'm going to go in. We want some content in our community right away. So we're going to go in and we're going to add some pin links, which you'll see appear on the right-hand side. Then we have this awesome capability that we know a lot of our customers really enjoy, which is we recommend people to add everyone with a Microsoft 365 Copilot license, and we update this multiple times a day. So every time you assign that license to someone, you will see more people to add to that community. So the question that was in the chat about doing it with a CSV, you don't have to do that. So here we go. We're adding our members. We've already got a community going. It's pretty good. We have suggested content, both from getting started, and I'll show you some of the later content about how to, like, we're actually going through, as I said, Caruana, Jesse, and team have made such amazing content. We're bringing some of that in, and you can go in and you can use a suggestion. You can edit it. We're not just giving you Microsoft stuff that automatically appears in your community. But we have a couple of principles around it. We want it to be really learning content. We're not going to put a lot of marketing content in here or anything like that. So you can edit it, you can post it, we can go see the post. And already our community is getting going. So we're moving a lot faster. We've got our members in, we've got some content, we want to write posts. And then there's a few more things. And to do this, I'm going to show you in our own Microsoft network. So this is our community. We use it. You'll see here is my recommended members. We haven't added people recently with Microsoft 365 Copilot licenses. For us, it's a public community, and we've changed some of the iconography. We changed the name. That's, as I said, everything. Everyone can do that. You'll see that we are sharing posts about creating images and videos this week. Some of this content that our own internal adoption specialists share make it into the community as well. And for those of you who have that community up, we don't actually let you know this content is here. That is something that's coming, but you click the ellipsis, you go through to suggested content, and you'll see all the content we have. So just to share some of these with you, again, you can edit them. We try not to put too much sort of context around them. We want it to be kind of fact-based. Here's a great tip. You add how to make it relevant to your organization. So getting started with prompts, we link you to great Microsoft resources like the Prompt Gallery. We're about to do a 4-week series on the great Copilot journey for both chat and Microsoft 365 Copilot. We give you updates, we pull from the newsletter. So there's content that you can go in and use, and you may notice if I use this suggestion here, actually it might be a bit slow today, I don't want to go in and show you that. I'm going to go back into our community and just show you the one last feature that we have, that this usually requires Viva CNC or Viva Suite licenses, but in our community, we have identified experts. They're probably you. They're probably our Copilot champions. So one of the things we don't want you to have to do is answer the same question over and over again. For those of you using Teams and channels or even email or even SharePoint lists, those kind of things, you're probably answering the questions, the same ones over and over again. We bring this additional capability called related similar questions into your community here. So, where can I learn about prompting? It's going to search through all the questions that have already been asked in this community. And if one has been answered and then your experts have verified it, it's going to be bumped up here at the top. So I know that a lot of people who run these communities get asked, how do I get my Copilot license? Where do I find Copilot? Even the most basic things, you're not going to have to answer that over and over again like you are in other spaces. It's all going to be done for you. And the really lovely thing that comes in with these kind of things is all of this content rolls up into Copilot as well. So if you answer questions in your Copilot adoption community and someone goes and asks Copilot the same question, it may reference your answer, your verified answer in Copilot, and take you back to that Q&A thread in the community. But this is a Copilot adoption community. I'm just going to ask Tiffany or Jesse, if you don't mind going back to the slides, and I'll just quickly wrap up.
Without
further.
I think it's nice seeing that the question module is so useful. That's awesome.
Without further.
And of course, running campaigns. I see, Chris, that you wrote that. That's also an excellent thing to do as well. Okay, I'm just going to jump forward all the slides. They're taking a while to load. So just as a quick reminder, 35%, this is consistent. We're seeing this impact bringing everyone together in this change conversation. And the more that people share, the more impact it has as well. We're going to, as I said, we have content. This is available to every customer of Microsoft 365. You can turn it on right now. If you would like support turning it on, we can help. There includes all the content. There's more to come. One thing I didn't even mention is we're including long form articles as part of the included features in this community as well. So you'll notice one that says Copilot just got an upgrade. It has a banner at the top. You can embed videos, you can embed images, all in line. We're bringing that to this community as well. And if you want some links on how to get it started, because we know it's so impactful, here's how to get started. And you're most welcome to reach out to me for some help in getting going as well. But thank you so much for your time. I love seeing all the chat and all the engagement going on. That's exactly what we want to have happen in your Viva Engage networks, in your organizations. And I'll hand it back to the team for the rest of the call.
Great. Thank you so much, James. Let me bring myself on screen and take control. I have a couple more community event, upcoming community event slides, and then we can get over to Q&A. So first things first, upcoming community events. We do have an upcoming community day in October 22nd in Greenville. And then after that, we do have a Power Platform Community Conference in October 28th to 30th in Las Vegas. And then, of course, Caruana mentioned earlier, we do have our annual Microsoft Ignite, where we bring the top product announcements and just the most exciting new changes and releases in the Microsoft hemisphere. And this year it's going to be both hybrid, in person, as well as online in San Francisco, California. So very, very exciting. We will have several members of the team be there and be representing. So hopefully you will stay tuned for that. And then, of course, our champions call for that month as well will be on Ignite Highlights. So that'll be in November. And then last but not least, we do have the European SharePoint Conference, December 1st to 4th in Dublin, Ireland. This one's really exciting. We're going to have all our usual Microsoft leadership, as well as members of our team, Caruana and others, be representing there. And so, feel free to check out these upcoming community events. And there's going to be a full list of these at the bottom links at the Microsoft link, as well as communitydays.org. By the way, if you are an organizer, you don't see your events, or you want to get your event promoted, you want more eyeballs, you want more participants, or you want to have a call for speakers, you can definitely do all that by promoting your event by submitting it via communitydays.org. And then next, this is our open discussion. If you're watching this on demand, feel free to check out the Microsoft Tech Community Driving Adoption event page for this call right here. Ask us your questions and we can get back to you. And then, of course, our next call, we are going in October, we're going to have our Microsoft Teams feature pages and channels with our Microsoft Team product managers. And yeah, so feel free to share your feedback on today's call, join our driving adoption community, as well as invite your all colleagues to become a champion to get all the goodness of, for example, all the slides that our lovely Caruana and James shared today in our slides, as well as a call recording and much more from our previous calls as well. All right, so I'm going to turn it over to open Q&A. So if we can go ahead and allow people to come on, turn on their mics and their cameras to ask us their questions. So we will take questions via hand raises format. So if you have a question for any of our speakers today, feel free to raise your hand. We also have Q&A as well as questions and comments that we can take from. I'm going to stop sharing.
All right. Yes, give me 1 sec. They moved my cheese. So I had to go to another location for the meeting settings, and that is done. So everybody, did it enable it for everybody yet?
While you're doing your thing, if you want to bring me back on screen for a second, I'll fill with something else.
Yes.
Yeah, we can unmute.
Yeah. Oh, good.
And we can
There
hear
are.
you. Fantastic.
Excellent, excellent. Just one quick thing that I wanted to mention. Thank you, James, for that fantastic demo. I'm so excited about those features. I did post in the chat a blog post that I wrote about protecting your career from this AI takeover. That is a non-Microsoft blog. That is my personal blog. But it's worth mentioning that it's really important in the way that we talk about AI, especially as champions. Y'all are irreplaceable. You can be augmented, you can be scaled, you can be helped to not have to do some of the drudgery of constantly answering the same question and things like what James shown. But the human relationship skills, especially that champions have, are absolutely critical to this workforce transformation. So I want to make sure you have that talk track because, excuse me, Copilot cannot replace what we do. The inspiration you bring, the leadership you bring, the business insight that you bring, the industry specific knowledge that you bring, all of those are absolutely critical to having any kind of technology rollout go well. So make sure that you can articulate that to folks around you. Use my steps in my blog posts. Follow that blog. I keep writing about workforce transformation because many people talk about the features. I like to talk about the people. And I think it's really important that we as champions understand the value that we provide and have always provided, but it's even more essential now. So that's a plug, not only for my blog, but for all of you, and to make sure you have that talk track in your back pocket as you go through into the future of all this agentic work and more capabilities coming from the AIC change that we're seeing.
Great, thank you.
Fantastic. On to your questions.
Okay, so first I wanted to address some of the questions in Q&A. I do see a lot of questions about getting links. So first things first, we are on PowerPoint Live. So during the call, you're able to click on these links live, so you don't have to wait to download it. You can just click on it while we have our slides up. After our call, 2 business days, we're gonna be able to upload the slides onto our Champions Resources page. These are only available for champions, so you make sure you sign up, and you'll get the resources page in their first welcome email, as well as our monthly newsletters. Those are the 2 places that you can access that link. All right, so we're going to hop on over to our first hands raised. Stephen, if you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yeah, I appreciate the time. So I dropped a Q&A. If I can get a response just for the wisdom of the crowd as well, that'd be great. But our Copilot adoption, it was a lot of hype. The hype cycle was real. Like a lot of people jumped in, started messing around, was using basically a Teams channel to promote, self-learning, YouTube videos, some of the contents on the Adoption Hub, like all the things. And we had weekly sessions where people could come round robin, ask questions similar to this kind of a session where upfront, talk about the latest and greatest, drop, basically sharing a lot of the YouTube videos. That was like the biggest thing that I could see every week. The problem that I have is people are already inundated with so many places to go find things. And if I roll out Viva Engage, which we've had little to no adoption of so far, I feel like I'm going to get into a paralysis by analysis situation where they're going to have yet one place to go review content, engage, download. What are your recommendations for, should I re-platform and bring everybody over to Viva Engage, or just keep doubling down on the channel that we have?
Can I take that one, James? So I have lots of customers who've been in that same situation. They've seen tremendous benefit from replatforming for a variety of reasons. So replatforming involves not only having the Viva Engage community, but the SharePoint site that backs that in the M365 group, or another one that is the host for all of the content and the information that you are creating. So it's really a twofold strategy of have the community, not the channel, but the Viva Engage, because Viva Engage is going to allow you to have this automation that you're saying. And if you're, and when your community is really successful, you're going to need those automated question and answer tools. You're going to need the AI that's built into Engage that isn't built into Teams in the same way. So you didn't mention how large your organization is, and I completely get this scenario. Basically, everybody goes through this at least once as they're rolling out some kind of technology. They have to move the cheese, but make it a moment and package that with something fun. Like use our Getting Stuff Done campaign kit, for instance, to start to roll out a Getting Stuff Done campaign inside your organization. Roll that platform change into something fun. So it's not really about the platform change, it's about the fun thing. And people will understand it, and you can get some more cohesive momentum in the work that you're doing to also control the noise of everybody talking about AI and new AI features.
Thank you.
And the team will put in the chat the link to the GSD page. We're right in the middle of updating the rollout kit to add some more internal comms to it, and it could be used in conjunction with the community that James showed you.
Maybe I could just add, Caruana. If we think about social media marketing as well, these days we're all used to receiving the specific types of content for the channel that we're looking at. So Caruana's Substack is awesome. It's really detailed because you're going to actually sit down and spend some time reading it. But I'm guessing, Caruana, if you were like, I want to, really hook some people in this, I'd do a, 30-second video and just with a highlight, and that would be more engaged like content. So to the question of like, should we replace? I always think we're never going to duplicate. We're going to create a new channel for a specific purpose. And that means that people know where to go to find out which piece. And as much as I hate generational stereotypes, there are, and my mum uses Facebook way too much, so it's not, fully true. There are expectations of the next generations coming into the workplace as to how that content is going to reach them and the style of it. So if you're sticking blogs on a SharePoint site, you're saying, go look at this PowerPoint, which might be amazing. They might actually want to receive the 30-second video version in a tool like Engage. So I do use it as just encourage you to think through how can we make it, just like Caroline said, more engaging, fun, informal, every day. And Engage is a tool that helps you do that. It doesn't do it for you, of course.
Right, exactly. And in our engagement kits, we talk about omnidirectional communication. And it's one of the most highly coveted skills of all champions is to manage this communication cycle across all the different endpoints. We use email, we use Engage, we use the long form format on SharePoint as a reference and also as a place where people can dive deeper using video. It's a thing. It's a big job. And that kind of setting up the tone of that is dependent on your organization, and it does take a bunch of work, but it is so well worth it. Team.
So next question, I do notice there was one earlier that I wanted maybe to bring on Caruana to also answer on screen as well, which is Rachel was talking about how, the Copilot update was such a helpful update, but there is so much in each update. And is there appetite to roll out updates like this more incrementally or a couple at a time rather than all at once, just because it is difficult for organizations to, manage, and they may get overwhelmed, especially when they just got footing on the basics.
It is super overwhelming. I just want to acknowledge that every Microsoft employee and everybody in this business in the world feels that way right now. It's difficult for us to stay up with what I refer to as AI clock speed, which is 3 times the clock speed that we had before in terms of feature release and capabilities. Unfortunately, I don't think so because it's a little bit of an industry-based arms race, if you'll think of it that way. Every organization is rolling out as many features as they can to win the hearts and minds of users. And I think it's up to us as the people who are most dedicated to the welfare of our employee communities and this workforce transformation to manage it. I look at myself kind of as, the reef that makes the port calm, right? It all, crashes against me, and then we try to, give it out to people in a less intense fashion. But no, I don't think the industry is going to slow down. I do think that means that this conversation about having themes every month, managing your communications, filtering for your user communities and roles, what is important for them becomes even more important. As long as they know they can come to you to know what they really need to know, right? They don't have to pay attention to everything in the world. As a matter of fact, I tend to tune that out. I know that I get what I need to know for my particular job from my own internal champions. I mean, obviously my role is a little different, so that's not 100% true, but I have to pay attention to all of it. But at the same time, you don't, your users don't. So, yeah, I don't think that they're going to do that. We would love it. We would all love it. We would have more time to create more great materials and stuff like that, but I don't think it's going to happen. Too much.
Thank you, Caruana. And yes, I mean, I think at least for us in the champions community, we try to curate at least. There's so much announcements and stuff going on at Microsoft, which is why we have the show Mondays at Microsoft, by the way, that Caruana and Heather are lovely proponents of and are the hosts of. But in our champions call as well, we also highlight the different sort of new announcements that we think are most important for our champions here, our change management folks here. So definitely it helps to keep up to date if you're a member of our community here. All right, so moving on to our next question, we have a question for James. Is there any future plans for making adding new users to a community more robust, not just like per user or per CSV file?
Yeah, I believe when talking about Engage in general, yes, you can already add users using dynamic groups. So you can go into Entra, set up your groups and the logic, and with the new connector with HR data that's coming in as well, we see a lot of customers that have, automatic regional groups, automatic sub-brand groups, all those kind of things, communities, and then they just point the communities at those. So there's a CSV. You can do you can do dynamic groups. And then as I showed for the Copilot community, it also has that extra piece that enables you to add anyone with a Microsoft 365 license. But our product team are always open to talking to you about how would you like to add people to communities, because it's something that we're always talking about. And John, thank you for the comment on my jacket. It's very nice.
Yes, your jacket is awesome. I'm super jealous of your jacket, just for the record. Like, what do I have to do to get a jacket like that? Clearly, I'm not in the right meeting somewhere.
Great. Another question for James. Will there be any video content coming to the Viva Engage Copilot adoption community?
Yes, there's just a little bit of engineering we have to do around that. We had included Caruana's great videos on getting started with agents, but we had to put a little line in it that say, please add this link again. It's because we're putting content in the community, but with the admin approval, it's just a bit trickier than we were hoping, but there will be video content coming from Caruana, Jesse, and team mostly. Yes.
And you'll be able to see our getting started videos there. And those are short 2-minute videos on specific tasks that I think are really good for helping people kind of manage the overwhelm and not just learn Copilot skills, but also core things in OneDrive and Teams and SharePoint that they need to know to have a great Copilot experience. And then we also have this ability for you to create your own getting stuff done campaign and content, which then of course you can use in Engage. I'm a fan of understanding that people's attention span is not as long as we might like sometimes, and you want to make sure that people get what they need and can come back for longer content. But people don't always have to come to a lunch meeting or watch a 20-minute video to get what they need. They can just watch something quick while they're having a cup of coffee and learn something. People do the micro learning a lot these days.
And Caroline, I just want to add that also that's a good reminder to us all that the goal isn't necessarily to tell people a lot of stuff. It's to encourage them to share their own. And that's where the real change happens. So you don't have to tell everyone everything, but what's the question you could ask? What's the call to action you could give? I saw some people saying that they ran campaigns in their community. What's the campaign that you can run that makes people feel like they're part of everything? And of course, you could do this in Teams and you could do it with a SharePoint site. It doesn't have to be Engaged, but how do you get others to share? That should be the goal of a lot of these discussions.
Absolutely. And I just want to quickly, I know we're going to be out of time here in a moment, but I do want to say that we are working on rebuilding and providing a new update to the best practices architecture guide that I mentioned earlier. That will be out before Ignite. I'd like to get it out in October, but it has to make some more rounds and include some of these new features and Planner and some of the other things in the agentic model. So we will have that out, but it will definitely include the new way of integrating with teams and communities inside of teams and sections and all of these things that have changed pretty fundamentally the way we interact with our site and team structure. And so we're definitely taking a look at that, and I will likely do a session on that, not only here, but also a digital training as we come up to either right before or right after Ignite.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Caruana, and thank you so much, James. This is our time. We're at time today, but really appreciate you bringing all these great updates and appreciate the demos that James showed the Viva Engage community as well. And again, just please make sure that you give, if you have more questions or if you're watching this on demand and you have other questions, check out our driving adoption community where you can ask us follow-up questions, and we will make sure to have our speakers respond to this. You get you all on there. But again, thank you so much for attending today's call. And yes, we are looking forward for you coming back to us either, our November or October call to bring us that update. Thank you so much, Caruana, and thank you so much, James.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. Thanks everyone for listening. See you again soon.